There, over the road, you know him, Labour's leader, promising to make the streets safer. 10,000 more police on the beat, catching more criminals and paid for by the better off, using capital gains tax the Tories plan to cut.
What we're putting forward is a proposal to increase police numbers. The Conservatives have cut by 20,000. We're putting 10,000 more police officers out there because it is a question of community policing and community involvement. There are many causes for crime and they have to all be addressed. It's a collective approach.
But Labour's been hounded by questions. Could they afford it? The parties suggested the same money could go on schools or welfare. Just examples, according to Diane Abbott. And the money?
How much would 10,000 police officers cost?
Well, if we recruit the 10,000 police men and women over a 4-year period, we believe it'll be about £300,000.
£300,000 for
Sorry,
10,000 police officers? What are you paying them?
No, I mean, sorry.
How much will they cost?
They will cost. It will cost about £80 million.
I don't understand. What is he or she getting? 80 million divided by 10,000 equals 8,000. So what are these police officers going to be paid?
We will be paying them the average...
Has this been thought through?
Of course it's been thought through.
First it was thousands, then it was millions. It's not the sort of thing which encourages people to trust you, is it?
It's been clarified. It's absolutely clear what the cost of this will be, 300 million.
Just how strong is your faith and trust in your Shadow Home Secretary, Diane Abbott?
Diane is fine and Diane has my full support.
She clearly does, and it's £300 million, not 80. Diane Abbott brushed off the mix-up, or tried to.
I do know my figures, and as you will know, I did 7 interviews that morning, and that was the 7th, and I misspoke, but I do know my figures.
That settled that, or did it? Trust's a problem for some of the voters in this part of Southampton in one of the tiny handful of seats Labour holds in the South East.
I believe that the Tories run the country like a business, where Labour seems to borrow a lot of money and just rely on other people to pay it back later on in life.
You don't think much of it. What about Jeremy Corbyn?
Corbyn isn't really my politician, although at least I've got a little bit of respect for the fact that he's more of a Labour man than perhaps they've had in the past. So, but...
He's sincere and honest, anyway. He's got convictions.
Yes. Although I haven't got a lot of faith in him as a politician.
Are you willing to give Labour a chance this time?
I'm willing to give Labour a chance as long as they're willing to help the working class people.
And do you think maybe they are in the business of doing that?
I'd like to think so.
This election's more about leadership, about the character of rivals than any I can remember since Margaret Thatcher first won. But policies that touch the lives of millions matter too, and law and order is one of those. Just now, Labour's fighting to regain trust on policies and personalities, and the Tories need that advantage. Police funding has been protected since the last election, but before that, it was cut back severely.
We have reduced the number of policemen on the street from 2010, but because the police have been spending that money wisely and because we've worked with them on reform, there's been a reduction in crime of nearly a third since 2010. We believe you can protect funding and also reduce crime.
Labour's telling voters no. Other figures suggest some crimes got worse.
Hello, Bobby. How you doing, Bobby?
Leaders like children at election time. Jeremy Corbyn seems to mean it, but he needs Britain to like him enough to make him Prime Minister. That's a much bigger ask. John Pienaar, BBC News, Southampton.